Kiln drying is a process that can't really be done without when you're making tables. Wood will dry out naturally on its own, given a long enough timeline. The problem is it won't naturally sterilize itself. So hardwoods fall susceptible to a range of different wood-boring insects that can live up to 10 years inside of a piece of wood without coming out. So we air dry our lumber for months, in some cases years, before it even makes it to the kiln. The kiln does the final finish drying and the sterilizing of the wood to make sure that there aren't any insects that are going to become crawling out of it once your table gets into your house. So it's a process that really can't be done without. Every piece of wood that comes through our shop goes through a kiln charge, no matter what. We do air dry the majority of our lumber for 6 months to a year prior to going into the kiln. There are some species of wood that actually do better if they're fresh, green off the saw and put directly into the kiln. With the wood drying process, it's very finicky depending on the species of the wood. Sometimes air drying is a detriment to the final quality of the piece. These were things that we had to learn along the way. Had to do a lot of reading and a lot of research to figure out how to do it properly. The harder the species, generally, the longer it needs to air dry. But on the softer end of the spectrum, when you get into soft woods and poplars and soft maple, those woods actually do better the sooner we can get them in the kiln, and they come out with less defects. It is kind of a long process. So we run 2 different kinds of kilns at our shop. We have one big traditional gas-fired unit outside, and then we run 3 iDry vacuum kilns. So vacuum kiln drying is a little bit easier in that the wood going in doesn't have to be quite as dry as it does to go into our gas-fired unit. The iDries introduce moisture into the chamber, which doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense, but it keeps the outer shells of the wood wet while the inside is drying. The outdoor unit, the advantage to it is it holds as much wood as the other 3 kilns combined, but we have to properly air dry those piles that go in, and they have to be relatively at the same moisture content prior to, otherwise we will risk damaging some of the wood and some of it coming out in good quality.